Hello everyone, Satya here. Today we are going to discuss the global settings or basic settings in SAP S4HANA Finance. The session is split into two parts. In the first part, we are going to discuss the variant principle, and the second part contains the rest of the settings in details. So first we need to understand what are the things that we are going to discuss in this particular session. The agenda for this session is going to understand what is global settings, its explanations as well as configurations, and then key takeaways. So we'll discuss the global settings are a prerequisites for handling all the business transaction in SAP, like the currency settings, the country settings, fiscal year, which are mandatory. And these settings are application independent, maintained in the client level. So let's discuss. First one is known as variant principle. First, we need to understand this variant principle. See, variant is a group of settings which is used for execution of operation in system for assignment to a company code. So SAP provides standard variants, client specific variants can be created, and we'll also discuss these variants. We have there are three types of variants. One is your fiscal year variant, posting period variants, and field status variant. So fiscal year variant, first we need to understand what is this. See, fiscal year variant, the transaction code is OB29, and the tables where the fiscal year variant stored, that is T009. So fiscal year means financial year or accounting year. It contains the definition of the posting periods. Generally, a posting period represents a month. So posting periods are two types. One is your normal posting periods and the other one is your special period. So what is this normal posting period? Not normal posting periods used for your transaction purpose. Whatever the transaction we do in a day-to-day life, those transactions handle in normal posting period. And second one is specific, special posting period used for your adjustment purpose. So its special period is nothing but it's a virtual posting period that are used to track the year-end activities. So in a particular year, we have 12 normal posting periods and 4 special periods that are already available in your SAP system. And fiscal year variant determines how many posting periods will be used in a client company in a particular financial year and how many special periods we need, and how the system determines the posting uh, when posting any transaction, how the system will determine. That means how the system determines the posting period when posting the transactions. So there are two types of fiscal year variants that we will discuss it. One is your year dependent fiscal year, and the second one year independent fiscal year. So what is this year dependent? Year dependent fiscal year is nothing but where posting period varies from year to year. Let's take an example. If a company does any seasonal business, and that particular company do not do business whole of 12 months or 1 year completely. Let's say in 2023, company started its business in Jan and ends its business in May. That is 5 months. And in the next year, 2024, it started its business in March and ends in business in June. That is 4 months. And the next year, 2025, it started the business in May, but completes the business in July. That is 3 months. Here you notice posting periods that the business using is keep on changing year to year. Okay, that is January to May, March to June, and May to July. So this type of mainly seasonal businesses, or maybe at the time of acquiring any business or purchasing any new businesses or takeover cases or acquisition cases, if those year dependent fiscal year is used, and this year dependent fiscal year is also known as short fiscal year because it is less than 12 months. And the next one is we have something called year independent. Year independent fiscal year is nothing but the posting period doesn't varies, unlike your year dependent. Year independent again two types. One is your calendar year and the other one is your non-calendar year. So calendar year, most of the companies in US or Europe or Middle East, they are using the calendar year, that is Jan to December. And in SAP, we have a standard fiscal year variant for that calendar years already pre-configured, that is K4. You can use K1, K2, K3 and K4. Four are there. So you can use that. Or else if you want to create a new fiscal year variant, calendar year variant, you can always do that. Copy the existing K4 and you can modify that. And non-calendar year means which would not follow the calendar year. That means any month of the year, but that business you do for 12 months. In case of in most of the company in India, okay, we use our financial year or fiscal year April to March, for which SAP has already created a standard variant V3. July to June, so many company also using July to June as their financial year or their accounting year, especially in Europe, for which SAP has already created the fiscal year variant, that is V6. And some companies in Australia, they are also using October to September, that is the standard fiscal year variant for them is V9. Now next one is when we do the configuration part. So how to configure the fiscal year in SAP system, for which we need to follow this particular path. We go to the SPRO and do it, or else you can use the transaction code OB29 to do it. So let's S4HANA system and let's go to the SPRO, reference IMG, then we'll directly go to the financial accounting. Since we are discussing the global settings, financial accounting global settings, under which we'll go to the ledgers, expand it, and then again ledgers, and here don't go to the ledgers, here fiscal year variant, fiscal year and posting period, expand this. Now maintain fiscal year variant. This is your nothing but the OB29 transactions. If you go to the additional information, display key and IMG activities, you can find the three codes here, last four character OB29. So execute, and here we have already standard fiscal year for April to March, that is V3. It is already there. Okay, V6 is already there, July to June, and V9 is also there, October to September. These three will discuss it. And here, country specific, let's say you are using other than this particular V3, V6 or V9. So in that cases, we can always configure our customized fiscal year variant and we'll put our control parameter on that. Now, if I configure this, let's say my company is in India and we're using the April to March financial year. In that cases, I suggest you don't directly use V3. You just always copy this standard one and create your own. So select it, go to the copy option here, and then change the fiscal year variant. I'll put it as let's say Z1, and this is April to March. Let's say my company code is ABCD or ABC Private Limited, so I'll put ABC Private Limited. And we have here column number of posting period. This is the normal posting period, 12 months are there, and number of special period 4, which is used for your year-end activities or adjustment purpose. Now you enter here, and here there is an error. It says an entry already exists in the same key. This already a fiscal year variant is there, so we need to change it there. So I'll just put a hash, enter. Now copy all, again enter. Now save it. When system prompt Okay, so my company is in, let's say, go to the one card and I will go to the ABC Private Limited. So save this particular configuration in your particular customizing request or transport request. So since it is a variant, fiscal year variant, and the variant can assign to a particular company code or a number of company code. If in a business multiple company code follows the same variant, we can assign the same variant to multiple company code. But before that, we need to understand what parameter it contains. Okay. So just select this newly created or newly configured fiscal year variant and go to the periods in the dialog box. Now here you will see we have this month, total 12 months will be there here, right? And the days those month contains and the periods here. So here since 4th, that is your April. So April is the first month of our accounting year. And what is this year shift? We have a column over here that is called year shift, and it says 10th, 11th, 12th, because in a particular year, in this particular 2025 financial year, let's say April to December, total 9 months are there, which is 00. And from 10th Jan, Feb and March, 10th, 11th, 12th, why it is -1, that we are going to discuss. And this concept is known as year shift. If you notice in the V3 fiscal year variant, that is your April to March, we have here -1, right? And in V6, if you go here back, now I'll find out the V6. This is V6 is nothing but your July to June. If you go to the periods here, now here you see, because it is a July to June. So July is the first month of the financial year, and its year shift is 0, and then all are -1 here. And then again we'll go to the V9, October to September. So we'll see here, October is the first month. So October, November, December here is +1, and these are all 0. So let's discuss this concept in details, and I'll stick with this V3 only, or maybe whatever the configuration I did, or whatever the fiscal year variant I have created. So I have created this variant. Go to the periods here. Now let's understand this year shift concept. So why it is -1, 10th, 11th, or Jan, Feb and March, and not these are all zeros. So let's understand the concept of the year shift, or which is otherwise known as a displacement year as well. See, SAP system by default understand the calendar year, that is Jan to December. But here in V3 or whatever April to March cases, we are using two broken calendar year, right? So when fiscal year is not same as the calendar year, we need to define a displacement factor for each of the posting period so as to correctly identify the number of posting periods. So example, consider a fiscal year variant V3, which is nothing but your financial year starts with 1st April and ends in 31st of March, right? And when I say it end with 31st of March, that means January, February, March belongs to the calendar year in 2026, and April to December is 2025. Okay, so the displacement factor or year shift from April to December is 0. So in our case, if you see here, so for April to this April to December, which is 9 month, 0. As all the month, that is 9 months, are falls under this same financial year 2025, right? So if I go to here, so let's understand this fiscal year April to 31st of March. So this April, let's say this one current fiscal year is going on 2025, and in 2025 See here we have this total 12 months are there, right? And here you will see from April to December total 9 months are there, that is in 2025. So in 2025 9 months there is no displacement. Okay, so there is no change of period, so we put 0. And for January to March, in the January to March, that is 3 months which belongs to 2026 calendar year. So here if you see 2025 minus 2026 is equal to negative 1. Okay, so by defining this way, the system able to recognize the correct posting period. And posting made, let's say posting was made on 25th of Jan 2026. It will be then be interpreted as 10th posting period in the fiscal year 2025. Even though it is the first calendar month of year 2026, but this January belongs to 2025. That is the 10th month. February is the 11th and March is the 12th month. Similarly, in case of V6, that is July to June, which the standard fiscal year variant is V6. So here we have total 12 months are there, and then 6 posting period are in 2025 from July to December, and again 6 posting period that is in 2026 calendar year. Okay, so since we have 6 months in 2025, we will consider it as the financial year. So year shift is 0 for all the 6 months in 2025, and in 2026 it will be negative 1 and negative 1. How that we can see it here? Go to the system and you will see here in case of V6. So V6, go to the periods. Now you'll see here from July to December, it is in 2025. So there is no year shift, it is 0, 0. And again, we're shifting the year from Jan to June, so which will be negative 1. Okay, in this way, we are telling the system that we are using 2 broken calendar year, which is the fiscal year for us. And in case of, we'll discuss another one is V9, October to September, how system behaves. If you go to the periods, now you'll see October is the first month, but since, see here October, November, December, positive 1 or plus 1, how it works, and all are zeros, and again then from January to September all are 0. So in this case, how the system understand this concept, we'll discuss the fiscal year 1st October to 30th September, that is V9. So we have here 12 months, and in this case you will see October, November, December. See, since this particular 2025 only 3 months content, so it will not be considered as a financial year, because to consider a year as a financial year, it should have minimum 6 months or 6 posting period minimum should have, or more than that. So since it is October, November, December, it will not be considered as fiscal year. So we'll go to the next one, that is Jan to September, which contain total 9 months, which is the, so in this case the company currently using October to September, they are technically using 2026 financial year. So this concept is well defined in our year shift concept, so we have to maintain, and this logic is already given in our SAP S4HANA system. Okay, and we don't have to do it, we just don't have to manually configure it, just copy the existing fiscal year and make changes the fiscal year name or keys as well. Okay, so this one, now go back. Next concept is we will discuss, that is what is this posting period variant. Posting period variant transaction code is OBBO. See, as you know, any document posting is possible only when the posting period are configured in the SAP system. Okay, so it is the time period within which a user can post the transactions in the system. So it is possible to have a different posting period variant for each company code in our organization, and this posting period a variant is independent of the fiscal year variant, which means a grouping of company codes with a different fiscal year can occur. So therefore, centralizing month-end closing activities or the number of posting period variant is determined by the closing schedule of each of your company codes. Okay. So this is the posting period concept. Now we will discuss this concept in the posting period. We have a concept known as open and close of the posting period. The transaction code is OB52. So what is this opening and closing posting period? And if we can go to this configuration part, so if I go to this configuration part, let's say here you will see posting period here. Define posting period variant, open and closing of the posting period, and any variant you can assign to the company code. Those three configuration is there. So before we go to this posting period variant, we can assign this fiscal year variant to the company code. We have a transaction OB37, we can do that, or we can do in other ways. There is a transaction OBY6 also there, that we will do. So for the time being, if we assign it, we can assign, go to the position, find our company code. Let's say my company code is ZWC, enter, and whatever the fiscal year I have created, fiscal year variant, that I can assign here. Enter and S. Save it. That's it. Now in the posting periods, we will discuss open and closing of this posting period. So what is this open and closing of the posting period? That we are going to discuss. So open and closing of the posting period means, see, apart from treating a calendar month as a posting period, we practice this principle of closing a posting period on the last business days of the calendar month. So meaning of the closing posting period means posting of all the transaction of that month in our books of accounts and preventing further posting in that month is known as closing a posting period. So it is not allowed to post the transaction of that month after closing that period. Meaning of the closing posting period involves two aspects actually. So one is your, what do you call it? Posting of entries for all the business transactions that have taken place in that particular calendar month, or locking that posting period. That means entries cannot be posted anymore in that particular month. Okay, so that is how it works. Next one is importance of closing of a posting periods. Why we do this? Let's say in first scenario, we don't close our books every month because every company they close the books. That is called month end closing. That activities happen in your finance department every month. So let's say scenario, we don't close our books every month. So profit target for the financial year 2025 is, let's say, 48 crore. So that the profit target for a month is month of April. Let's say we'll consider from month April is rupees 4. So every month we need to achieve the profit target of 4 crores in order to get the 48 crores yearly target, right? So if the books are not closed for the month of April, we will set ourselves a target as per our annual target. So profit target for the month of 2025 will be, let's say, 4 crores per month. But where we close our books every month, let's say if we close our books every month, let's say in month of April 2025, and realize that we incurred the loss of 7 crore in that particular month. Okay, instead of gaining this 4 crore profit, we made a loss of 7 crores. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? So our profit target for that month of May, let's say April month we got it 4 crores, but in May month we have an incurred loss of 7 crores. So in that case is how the system behave and how your business behave. So loss in April 2025. So total profit to be achieved in the remaining 11 month, right? We have a time of 11 month to compensate that loss. So let's say we have now 11 months in our hand, and in that 11 months we'll achieve that 48 crores. So in that cases again it will be revised to 55 crores. So revised type target for the month is 5 crores in this case. So you have the time to compensate that. That is the effect of closing of the posting period in SAP. So what is that effect of closing a posting period in SAP? When a posting period is closed, we will not able to post a transaction of that calendar month. So when we close our current posting period, we open the next period so that we can start posting the transaction of the next calendar month. At any given of time or point of time, only one posting period will be available for posting the transactions. And next one is your objective. What is the objective? Why we do that? Okay. So objective of closing posting period is to ensure that all the transactions are posted in that month without keeping pending transaction on the last day of the month. So we can get the correct picture of the business, how whether our business go in the same directions or in the correct directions, or only all the businesses transactions are posted in that month or not. Okay, so that is how it works. Next one is a reopening of posting period. So what is reopening? See, the normal practice is to close a posting period on the last business day of a calendar month. In some cases, it may not be possible to create the accounting entries for all the transaction that takes place in that month for practical reasons. So SAP system allows us to reopen the posting period and post a transaction back in the previous calendar month. So, but in the right to open a posting period is given to selected group of people or handful of people in our organization, especially in the senior position. So, if there is a good reason behind not being able to post the entries, it can be reopened by those managers. So, next one is we will, in conclusion, I can say that results always depends upon the quality of decision we take. Okay, and quality of decision we take depends upon the quality of the information that we have here. So it's important for us to provide the correct financial position to our employees so that they can take correct decision in our business. So we can achieve maximum possible results only when our employees take correct business decision. So it becomes more important to close every posting period and arrive at the correct financial position. That is why that is the objective of the closing of the posting period every month. Now let's discuss the configuration of the posting period variant and opening and closing of the posting period variant. And that variant again you can assign to your company code. Now configuration part, we can always follow this particular path. So let's go to the system and do this. Go back. The same path, you will see posting period here. So we need to define a variant for this posting period. The transaction OBBO transactions, execute, and you go to the new entry, put any 4-character key. I'll just put the ZABC, the same ID that I'm using, just to so that I can remember it easily. And posting period variant for our company. Save it. I think that system already there, so save it. Now this variant need to be assigned to the company code, right? Because every variant can assign to this company code. So it is OBBP transaction code. You need to assign it, go to the position, find your company code, and here you can assign it. Whatever the posting period variant that we have configured, that need to be assigned. Now save it. So this is the configuration part. And the important part is open and closing of the posting period. Usually end user people cannot access the OB52 transactions, that is opening and closing posting period is OB52. Okay, and in that case we have the option in SAP for end user who can make the changes in the posting period that I'll show you. Now go back, open and closing of the posting period. Put a posting period variant that we have just configured. and go to new entry. Here under this posting period variant, we have a different type of accounts for which closing and opening of posting period is required, or month end closing is done. So here instead of creating the individual for individual accounts, okay, I'll just put the valid for all account type, but in the real time you may do the individual. From account to account is not required right now. From period is nothing but your first period. Okay, you can put the first one. Financial year, you can add it here. The period one will be put as per your quarter the current period is going on. But in that, for the training purpose, I just put the first period, that is in April. And here, if you put 12, that means all the 12 months are open. Okay, let's say current month is November. So, okay. So, in this case, November means what? It is the 8th month, right? So, in this case, I'll put 8th here. And if I want to only open 1 month, then I'll put 8 to 8. If you want to open 2 months at a time, you can put 8 to 9 in this case. And here 2025 financial year, and here from to, it is the special period. So from 3 period 3, these are all special period. So now from 2 is, we have 4 special period, that is 13, 14, 15, 16. Up to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 are the virtual period that we can add it here. 13, again this financial year you can add it. 14th financial year. 15th, again this financial year. And 16th, that is financial year. And you can save it here. Right. Now we see here you have the 2 time intervals from and to, okay, and 3 time period. In SAP S4 system we have every individual time period is there, okay, but this is actually mandatory to update the period 1. This is mandatory. This period 1 is very mandatory, and you need to enter the posting period to open it. So for instance, if you need to open the posting period of, let's say, this particular November, so we have given 8, and you can count from the April, okay, and that is how it should be. And from period 2, these are all special period, okay, and 13, 14, 15, 16, these are all special period, okay. So we can add the entry, and there is something called authorization group here. What is this authorization group? See, we can assign the authorization group for permitted posting period. For instance, we can open some posting period for a specific users only, right? So the authorization group only has the effect on the time period. So we need to create this authorization group and assign. But authorization group is created by your technical people, developers, they will do it. And for that authorization use object, they can specific accounting document authorization object they will use and create it, and you can assign it. Okay, that means we can assign authorized person to handle the job, when to open the and when to close these particular periods, right? And this happened, then we have already discussed. Now we can execute. So this is OB52 transactions. In actually cases, in the real-time cases, if the user people do not have this access, they can always go to the end user position. Here this is the end user or client screen. Under this you can go to the accounting, financial accounting, general ledger. You go to this environment here and current settings. Under this current settings, we have here open and closing of the posting period. Okay, so they have this transaction code, they can open this from here also. This is the same page. Okay, user people can open from here as well. So that can be. Now That's how it is. We have done these configurations. Next one is field status variant. So what is this field status variant? Field status variant is used to define the fields. It controls the appearance of field in the SAP system or SAP transactions. So to do this or to configure that, we use the OBC for transactions, and or else you can go through this path. When you do the configuration, you can go to this part, financial accounting global settings, fields, and define field status variant. That we can do it here. So go to the system here, SPRO, reference IMG, same settings, financial accounting, global settings. Now let's click on this particular, where it is, ledgers, fields, then define field status variant. What exactly the field status variant does? See, field status variant is used to define the fields, and it groups together several field status. Let's say we create this variant and we group it here. Field status groups are there, and it controls, like, which fields to be made as a mandatory or required entry, which fields to be in optional, which fields we can suppress it, which fields you can display it. So those things we can do it as per our transaction and nature of our reporting purpose. So that is the field status. To make certain fields mandatory or optionals or suppressed or display, we use this field status variant, and we can control it through the ledger accounts. So I'll just copy this, copy it, and create my field status. Let's say ZABC field status variant for ABC Private Limited. Now enter, copy all. So what are the things we copied it? What are the control parameters? Save it first. And then select this field status variant that you have configured. Then click on this field status groups. We have major 4 types of groups in SAP. One is your general GL accounts, because it will control through the GL accounts. Another one is material related GL account, cost related GL account, and bank related GL accounts. Okay, these are the groups. So I'll take one groups only. Go to the field status, and now you in the general data, in the transactions home, in these fields you can find, and you can make certain fields, required entry means mandatory, so that at the time of transaction the user must fill that particular some information in that particular fields. Otherwise, system will not allow to save the transaction. So you can do this as per your reporting requirement. If certain fields in the report you want to see that fields, so you can activate or deactivate, okay, and save it. So that can be done. So this is the configuration aspect. Now you can go back. And after this, as I mentioned, all the variants should be assigned to your company code. So assign company code to the field status variant. The transaction code is OBC5. You can find it from here. OBC5. Execute. Find your company code and assign the field status variant, which is the same. Now you save it. These are the settings. Okay. Now if I go back, we can centralize it. So for global parameter, we publish the separate video for global parameters in very soon. But I'll show you in the global parameter. We can see that transaction code is OBC OBY6. Select your company code, open it. Here you will find all this is now company. This is my company credit control area, financial management area, field status variant that we have assigned to our company code, this company code, and your posting period variant is also assigned. Okay, and fiscal year variant is also assigned. This three variant is already assigned, you can see. And all these parameters are controlling parameter like processing parameters and accounting organizations. These things we'll discuss in a separate video very soon. And save it, go back. So this is our configuration aspect, and soon we will publish our global settings in the second part, that is part 2. And what are the takeaways that way? So defining a fiscal variant, usually your variant is a mandatory. Okay, so when you do the fiscal year variant, you will do the description up to 30 character, that is limited. Global settings are done under the client level, and it helps in maintaining the consistency between the organization units and your transaction carried out within that particular units. And next